Hello and welcome to A Journey Through Time, Chapter 6. That is wild, Christopher. That means
We're halfway
this
through.
is halfway through.
Yeah, crazy.
No way. It feels like we just started.
Isn't
that?
Blink and you miss it is sort of how it feels.
That to me is wild because when we started this, a year is not a very long time, but it's a decent amount of time. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to go on for a year. It's going to take so long to get through it, like in a good way. And then now we're halfway, and I'm thinking, please stop. Let's stop time.
Pump the brakes.
This is so fun, and I don't want to be halfway through.
I know. I'm thinking about nearing the end of Elowen, and it makes me very sad.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is that now we're doing 3 subscriptions at once, and so time just goes so much faster than it did before.
We're so busy.
But it is sort of unbelievable to me that we are so far along on Grace already. And I'm so delighted to be here because this is truly like, this outfit is one that I was so excited about and really went to bat for. And
you did go to bat for it. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. This one is really fun. This one is from our sporting fashion book. And we'll put a couple pictures on the screen that Diana edited. But this is bookmarks. Garden Party.
Yeah.
And this one is so incredible. It has multiple pieces, which we're going to talk about. But what a delight Garden Party is. And we're going to talk about a little bit in here in our sporting fashion book. So if you have the sporting fashion book, then you'll recognize this photo because this photo is actually the exact photo that I put on the schedule to advertise our outfit. And so it definitely is a major sneak peek. If you had this book and you saw this picture and you saw it on the schedule, then you would know what the outfit of the month was.
We give really big fat Easter eggs sometimes.
Big fat Easter eggs.
Yeah, very
but I love this because the sporting fashion book is outdoor girls. It's all women from the 1800s all the way to 1960, and it is them doing things that are considered sports.
Yeah, sure.
Well,
right. They're
shopping. I want to call it more of an activity because a sport, you can't. We're not going to say the same. Soccer is the same as a leisurely picnic.
Sure.
But picnicking in the 1890s had its own type of fashion.
It was much more of an occasion, as most things were, I think. I can only presume, I wasn't there, but I think activities were made a much bigger deal out of. And so fashions were produced more specifically because, they were more occasion specific. You made a bigger deal out of going out and doing things. And so the garments were particular and they were intentional. And although I think perhaps a picnic and something this,
wonderful,
voluptuous.
We're going to talk about the undergarments too. Could you imagine going to so much pomp and circumstance to have a
this
picnic?
Outfit as it is, what you see now is already 7 pieces.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine having all of the undergarments on top of that because that is comprised of at least its own 4, 5, 6 pieces. This would be such an event just to get into before you even do the thing you've planned.
And that's what it was like back then. So now when we're thinking of going to a picnic, we think about what the weather's going to be like.
You're right.
And then I dress for comfort and for something that I don't mind if it got dirt on it or mud because you're going to be sitting in the grass.
Sure.
And so I wear my casual clothes, my clothes that I don't care about as much, to go to picnics, right? If you're going to be sitting on the grass, which they were sitting on the grass back then. But here's a little snippet of what the sporting fashion book had to say. There are times when a woman scans her wardrobe, however replete it may be, in search of a gown in which she can afford to take risks. A picnic is one of those times. It is a wise precaution to go picnicking well armored as to costume and disposition against a overturning of the cream jug or a probable overflowing of the clouds' summer showers. So, I mean, this is the risky fashion. This is the risky fashion. A fashionable hostess passing out sandwiches and sodas in her silhouette of a pert leg of mutton sleeves and hourglass torso was achieved with innovative underpinnings. So the wonderful thing I love about our outfit of the month, which was made by Ruby Red Galleria, is the billowing leg of mutton sleeves are achieved without the underpinnings, although we would like to have those underpinnings.
Sure.
We would like to. So let's talk about the underpinnings real quick. So our book is full of all kinds of bookmarks.
Yeah.
Because we're not finished. There's still more we want to do. And we're gonna put we have this actually inside the box. So you're gonna get a printable that has the wonderful, wonderful underpinnings, which Diana Vining hand illustrated, and she said they are her most intricate underpinnings that she has made to date for VDC. It took her a really long time.
Without question.
Without question, yeah. But look at the arm bustles.
Yeah, yeah.
The arm bustles.
Unbelievable. Shoulder cages. Yeah.
So we have the underpinnings and then we have the outfit. Now, we are working on hats. Our factory is working on hats. They have been delayed, but we have several hats in the works that are going to coordinate with several of the outfits. So the hat is to be determined. So don't fret too much. We are working on hats. But we did manage to make, Diana Vining did manage to make a wonderful printable lunchbox that is almost identical to the one that is in the historic photo right here that is coming inside your box, and it looks so good, doesn't it?
Unbelievable. A little round of applause for Diana.
Diana Vining.
It's so remarkable. It looks incredible. So
it's wonderful. It's so good. Take the time to cut it out. Now,
totally.
For our filming today, we don't have her little example. She sent it in the mail and it's going to come tomorrow, so we're going to insert an additional clip when we get it tomorrow, and it's now in this video. But you will get it, and the printables that are coming in your box are a lot, because just to do the lunchbox, it has to come on 2 pages. So you're getting that plus a lot more. But let's talk about the outfit. Let's talk about Garden Party.
I am so excited. I've been waiting on the edge of my seat for this one for a long time. I said in the last video, it's substantive. You're getting 7
looks
pieces
like a souffle,
in this outfit. You have the blouse, the jacket, the skirt, the crinoline, the bow tie, the belt, and gloves. It's
7 pieces.
It's filled to the brim, you guys.
It is filled to the brim. So again, another crinoline.
Yeah, every one of them. You know, if it should have one, it does.
These outfits are not. You're invited to mix and match. They're really. What's the point of mixing and matching when it looks so good?
Yeah. In the same way that dressed dolls are sort of designed and delivered to you with the intention of being dressed, some of these are much more,
It's just, when I say what's the point, I don't mean that in any kind of bad way. Mixing and matching is really fun, and it's so great to see when you take a skirt and you put it with something else, what kind of outfit you can achieve.
Yeah.
But I meant that in the vein of you're receiving something that looks like that, I wouldn't want to take that apart.
Sure.
But again, Ruby Red Galleria with the construction.
Incredible craftsmanship.
Here's the jacket.
Gorgeous.
And look at these leg of mutton sleeves.
They're huge.
They're just everything. And could you imagine if they had a little bustle underneath there?
Right.
They do billow out. All you have to do is kind of...
That's the thing, is at this scale, fabric can only be so pliable. And so it actually keeps its own stiffness really well, just because it's miniature, It's just beautiful. I'd mentioned in the last video that this is this is comprised of a number of my favorite things. It's black and white stripes, it's black and white polka dots. I had to have this one, even just as a sort of for me thing.
The bow tie and the gloves.
The bow tie is incredible, and it's a really easy application. There's just a hook and eye at the back, and the gloves are the same standard gloves that you've become used to over the last several months.
Which are incredible.
So beyond.
Little fingered gloves.
Fingered gloves with a button clasp. They are just amazing.
Just the gloves, I feel like, are $25, more than $25. I can't even imagine. We've tried to get gloves like this, and for years, and we have been unable to. But Ruby Red Galleria can make them.
Yeah.
But I can't even imagine what the cost would be. See, we order a full outfit with several hundred, and so that's how we can do this, and because of our wonderful subscribers. But if we needed to order 50 sets of gloves or something, they would absolutely be $30 or $40. They would.
They're so small, and the fingers are so small. It's
so much work.
It's a lot of work. And I have found too that when you're applying them, it's almost easier to do with Grace's hands already removed, and then you can just put the gloved hand back on rather than trying to jostle the doll.
Grace's hands come off easier than Elowen's hands.
Yeah.
But again, you're receiving another beautiful crinoline.
Yeah, gorgeous. Huge
crinoline. And your skirt is also lined.
Fully lined skirt. Yeah, the movement on that fabric is just beautiful. It really does sort of just sway and swish.
It's beyond and they did a wonderful job. Ruby Red did a wonderful job with the construction and the authenticity of matching what was in this.
Yeah.
But everything we had made for Grace up until our historical moment here had been real slim, real form-fitting.
Yeah.
And I wasn't used to seeing Grace with leg of mutton sleeves.
Sure.
With a silhouette like this. And this was one of the first samples we received.
Yeah.
And I thought, I didn't know what to think. We received this one and the other one that's a big silhouette too.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure because I'm not used to it.
Right.
But now that we're seeing it, I love it.
In lots of ways, this sample was sort of what determined whether or not we would go forward with this concept of a historical subscription.
Yeah.
And we really went back and forth for a long time about, like, is it too bulky? Does it take away from her figure? Is it flattering? Right. And does it make sense? Is it practical? Is it, is there something that collectors don't yet have that this might offer? And ultimately, I'm so glad that we went forward. And even the way that you can strip this back without the jacket and see that it's got this really beautiful tailored blouse. But I like that sort of bombastic, huge, fluffy shape that she takes because there's an elegance to it anyway, even if it is larger than what we were doing in season 2 or 3. I'm so thrilled with the way that it's come together.
I am. It is very different. I mean, it's just, we've never, anything that we've ever done is just nothing like this, which is why everyone is enjoying it as much as we are. But at the time, this was something because we had to really plan in advance. I had to purchase 8 of our outfits about 10 months before we launched the program.
Yeah.
But from a business standpoint, that was really scary for me.
Oh yeah, you have to invest all of it
that
all
money
at once.
And all at once and hope people agree with us.
Yeah.
And subscribe, and you did. So thank you so much.
Well, and thank you for taking a chance, right?
Yeah, right. You're buying this. You're buying this, and you didn't know what it was going to be, which is part of the fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that really is, right?
I agree.
I think that's what keeps people.
I love a surprise.
I do too.
I love a sort of, I love the adrenaline, I love the anticipation, and this gives you all of that. And then I like to think the best part is that you get the payoff with an incredible reward being a beautiful garment. And every month you're getting that sort of like, what could it be? And right. I think it's just truly like a delight every time. And this is no exception. To me, I'm very, very happy with this one. And
as we've grown as a company and as we amass more subscribers, this is something that Christopher doesn't have as hard of a time with. I do, because I want everyone to like it. And I know they're not always going to.
Yeah.
And so he helps me kind of, navigate those feelings of when I see stuff or I see comments, and I don't take it personally. But sometimes it's like, I know that 300 people aren't going to feel the same way, or 1,000 people are not going to feel the same way.
Right.
And good fashion should elicit conversations.
I fully stand by that. And it's not that I I don't want to please people. I very much want, I'm in the business of, being a good jester. but more specifically, I really want to be sure that I love something and that we love something.
Yeah.
And that if that is true and we fully believe in what it is, that is actually, to me, a little bit more important, and people can see that.
So obviously, we like it. We analyze, and we really do think, as you can imagine, things go through so many conversations before they make it into a box. And we have actually even ordered things that didn't. But anyway, we know this is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is good. So we're excited. So Diana Vining, again, spent so much time working on the artwork to bring this to life. And Christopher spent a very long time working on the story. I think it was about 5 hours.
It was longer than I would have liked.
Yeah, he didn't mean to, but I wasn't going to sit here and be like, creative processes, unfortunately, you can't rush them. You can't.
I'm glad that you to see that way, because I agree. And that said, I think it finally came to a place that felt really good for me. And when I gave it to Diana, she was just, thrilled. And she did a beautiful job illustrating it. It really, all of her artwork, this whole box is beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So let's talk. I keep opening this up because this is so fun, but you are going to get these images inside the box with some information about your outfit. And what I personally love about this outfit too is that it is right out of a fashion archive. So this is an actual garment from the late 1800s.
Yeah, in a museum.
In a museum. Yeah. And in the back of the book, it tells you where every single piece of the outfit came from and who had it and who made it and all that stuff. So I think that's very cool. But let's talk about the artwork. So our paper doll of the month, let's start there, Diana Vining. Wonderful job, Diana. Look at this paper doll.
Her use of color is so beautiful in this.
And the undergarments, again, with the bustle sleeves and the corset and the bustle on the back and the wonderful fabric and these shoes, which we have for sale.
Yes, we do.
That are an add-on. Her hair, her face, the little bunny having a little picnic.
The bunny, I know.
It's all wonderful.
It's remarkable.
This should be framed. This is so beautiful. And it's just so Eastery and it's so springy.
Very festive.
I love it. So Diana Vining, I know this was a lot of work and you're constantly bringing everything that you can to the table. This one took a long time and we really appreciate it.
And beyond,
And beyond, yeah. So in addition to that, Christopher, why don't we talk about the illustration?
Yes.
That's right.
This one?
There, yes, that's coming in the box too.
She did such a beautiful job.
Isn't that beautiful?
I mean, like, you'll hear in a moment in the story sort of why color takes the role of a character maybe in this box. And she spared no bit of that with this. It's really, really beautiful. And I just envy this garden. I know. Like, that is the most transcendent storybook sort of place that you could possibly have a picnic with a bunny, you know? It's really beyond.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I feel like this just gives me a little bit of peace just looking at it because like there's a lot going on, and if I can even just pretend and envision to be in this place, in this outfit, having feeding a bunny a little strawberry.
Yeah.
And a little blanket.
I think
Look at the egg.
Yeah, exactly. The detail is really, really wonderful. And the lemonade,
wonderful.
You know, when you think about walking through a museum and observing the pieces around you, you know, color and shape and perspective and, you know, it all makes you feel something when you're observing in that way. And I think a lot of Diana's pieces really evoke the same thing. It's art, you know, it's not just a paper doll. Right. It's a beautiful, hand-drawn human depiction of a doll on paper, you know, all the ways that she feels for the doll, and she envisions the emotion or the perspective of Grace, and I think that really comes through in this. It's really, the whole box is beautiful. It's
just beautiful. So she did that, and then I just love it. Now we have, Christopher, why don't you pull out your story, and then I'll pull out these right here. So these are on a bigger scale. These are on 8.5 by 11, but they come on cards inside your book. So you'll receive this right here. And again, we're working on hats, so don't fret too much. We're trying to get hats. Our factory is actually doing a good job. We have some samples on the way, actually.
We have some great leads for hats.
Yeah, so we're working on it. The hats have been, some things are just harder to do, so as you can imagine, but we're working on it. But the outfit is just incredible on its own.
Yeah.
But you will receive that, and then your picnic basket comes on 2 cards, the box bottom, the box lid, and then the sides, and then she also included a plate with some silverware, and this took her a really long time too. And when I say that, I don't mean that in a bad way. It's a good way. She puts so much time and effort into this. So if you're not in Diana's Paper Doll Club, you absolutely should join her next season, or she might even have some openings in her current season. But it's wonderful. Her Paper Doll Club is doing storybooks, but this is good. This is great. And then on the cover, you will also receive a letter from me about the outfit of the month and the picture of the sporting fashion book. And then Diana just did a wonderful job. We talk about the history of the outfit and the wonderful job that Ruby Red did in our construction. So thank you so much to all of our wonderful artists and everybody. Our pattern of the month is called Picnic Social, and it is a historic garment from our wonderful Tamara Casey of Designs by Jude. She is working so incredibly hard. Christopher, what do you think of Picnic Social? When she sent this over, I thought it was just, wow, it was just such a wonderful compliment to what we were doing. She did a lot of research. The fabric choice,
yes. The silhouette, the ribbon detail, that is really, you can tell she did research actually. That's lovely. I love that line in particular. That's really great.
He's talking about the shirt. It's beautiful.
Yeah, let's have her.
The blouse. But Tamara is here with us to tell us all about it and all of her hard work. Again, you can go to the Fletcher Pattern Company and shop Tamara's patterns. She has been doing this for a very long time. There is a wonderful archive, and she always has all kinds of things for sale as well, not just just sewing patterns, but all kinds of fun things. So make sure to check that out. All right, Tamara, come on in.
The evolution of women's fashion has been a journey through social norms, shifting values, and artistic expression. This month, Grace is traveling back through time to the late Victorian era. That era spanned from 1887 to 1901. Several distinctive trends emerged during this time period, including the bustle era, the tailor-made suit, and the Gibson girl style. The shirtwaist begins to appear in the 1870s. It was a blouse-like garment that resembled a man's shirt, including both collar, cuffs, and a button front top. Early editions were often homemade and considered very informal. In the 1890s, the shirtwaist became extremely popular and was considered a symbol of modern practicality. The Gibson girl look featured the shirtwaist with puffed sleeves paired with a long A-line skirt, and it became the ideal American feminine style. This month's picnic social pattern captures the Gibson girl silhouette with a long sleeve button front shirtwaist blouse with puffed sleeves and biased yokes. The blouse is paired with an A-line floor-length gored skirt with a flounce at the hemline and a modest train. The look is complete with a Victorian waist belt. I hope you enjoyed this journey back in time as you create your own picnic social. And as always, I can't wait to see what you make.
Thank you so much, Tamara Casey of Designs by Jude. So let's talk about your Chapter 6, Christopher, of our little fairy tale right here. It goes in and out of, we've got all kinds of fantasy and reality and all kinds of fun things happening.
It's a multi-element sort of story, and it continues to be, right? Like we've said this whole time that I hope that it sort of translates as a real story, that you can sort of document the passage of time, and each month or each chapter sort of melts into the next one. And last month we left you on a little bit of a mystery, a little bit of a cliffhanger. Grace lost her book and was sort of pacing around the room not knowing what to do. She had just sort of gotten caught up in the hullabaloo and joy of a big parade and the party that ensued, not thinking about where she'd left it. And then we left you there. So
she lost the book.
Book, trapped in 1890.
Trapped in 1890.
And so now we follow, a month later, and I don't know what to do. Maybe we'll do.
Well, you can give them the gist too. This is a long story. The print's a little small, but we were able to fit it on 2 pages.
It took.
And you can give them the gist because we were trying to figure out how to incorporate this into the story, and so Grace's world had to lose its color.
Yeah. So
let's start there.
The element, okay, so the major element that I wanted to sort of play on was that this was a black and white outfit and for spring, and how I found that to be like kind of ironic and kind of funny, and it's also the same time period as as March was. And so I thought, like, can we do something that allows her to stay in that time period rather than traveling to and fro and back again to the same window of time? And so we trapped her there very rudely for a couple of weeks, and then we learn that throughout the story time begins to sort of not make a lot of sense anymore, and as it passes she sort of is in sort of a fog or a daze and begins to notice that the color of everything around her starts to drain and the world becomes sort of sallow and she can't really see individual color, and then it all goes black and white. There is one little glimmer in her life that sort of retains its color, and that's in her garden. We started last month with her planting a garden and she was very excited about it. And so now we see her tending to this garden, and there's just a small little patch of daffodils that have kept their bright golden color. And I'll just say that there's, resolution at the end, and she is much relieved. Maybe we'll give you a very quick little passage here. The days blurred together. Then days became weeks. She'd stopped trying to keep track. The absence wore her down the most. She missed her friends and her family and her routine. She missed artists and musicians yet to be born. She missed the modern conveniences of her car. She had even begun to miss the elaborate, too-long jingle of her washing machine begging for her attention. But most of all, she missed color. It happened slowly, unseen at first, like a steaming mirror. Then the confusion came. Things began to appear dull, alienating her to a private audience of her own conscience. No one else seemed to notice. They lived their lives going on as usual, and Grace was all alone. Dull became sallow, and sallow became faint. And then one day, it was gone. The sky outside had gone gray, matching the lawns and birds and faces of happy passerby. So it starts kind of bleak, but it doesn't end that way.
Well, and that's how she felt. She felt bleak. She felt a little hopeless. She didn't think she was going to be able to go home. The color was draining from her world. And then in the end, she ends up having an Easter egg hunt and color and a wonderful outfit, and you'll just have to read the rest. So, but it's a fun one.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'm biased to say so, but I think it's fun. And if you actually, you know, want to sit down and really be immersed in the unboxing this way, I think the ensemble alone and the visuals of Diana's artwork alone are really just so captivating. But this gives you a separate element that if you would like to, you know, partake in, it I think brings another bit of role play and imagination. So sit down with a nice warm beverage and, you know,
for sure.
Go through it.
And let us know in the comments what it's like for you, but I really envision, and if I was receiving this box, the whole box opening, the reading, the undressing, the putting it on the outfit, this whole ritual would take me a couple of hours to sit down and savor and really enjoy.
Yeah,
and
it's
have
a whole
fun.
day.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
We have a wonderful friend, Lucy, who on the days that her boxes get delivered, her wonderful husband, Rudy, makes no plans for the day.
That's so cute.
Isn't that so cute?
That's such an honor. I don't feel worthy of that at all, but that's
he knows on Pink Box Day to not plan anything. And I thought that was just the cutest thing.
Oh, that's precious.
We love you guys, by the way. They were here at Oktoberfest, but that is so fun. So speaking of color, we do have some fun things to talk about. We have some boots that match the outfit, that match the sporting fashion book, that are add-ons.
Yes, we do. I've got them hiding on Grace here, and you can see they are a really beautiful full lace boot that is a practical lace. They're very nice. Just a really classic black and white, sort of a different variation on a similar silhouette we've been doing, but I think they really suit this outfit so nicely, and I like that the amount of black is a little bit more prominent, and it really ties into the bow tie, allowing you to accessorize a number of ways, but really sort of anchoring the outfit with that dark color. They're beautiful, and they're easy to put on. Just, you know, make sure you unlace them all the way down, and then they're a cinch.
Yep, and these would all, the white cork ones we have put out, the black ones we have put out. There's a lot of boots in your collections that will work well with this. I do want to remind you though that these do not have a zipper, so they are laced up. I love the look. I think it is so beautiful, but we do know that is a little bit harder to put on.
Yeah.
It is. It just takes a little bit more effort. You got to unlace all those and get them on.
That's part of the time of Pink Box Day.
But it's so, they look so good.
They do look good.
They look so good. So speaking of color, we put out a mystery ensemble. This is a wonderful trench coat with some fabulous pants. And this one we've been excited about for a while.
We've been sitting on it for a minute.
But this one came out as a mystery, so when the mystery comes out, if you want to take a fashion chance with us, you also save some money because it's less cost, and then the cost goes up. So thank you to everybody who purchased this outfit.
So we have our April mystery here for you. Thank you to everybody that bought that preemptively. I think you're in for a real treat with this one. And if you haven't already, let me win you over because we've actually had this in for several months and months and months and months. And we actually left this out for anyone that came to or through the shop, that if they, you know, took a tour, they could see. And every single person stopped us and was like, what is that and when is it coming out? And it's coming out. April is here. So this is a beautiful little season appropriate trench coat that you can wear for springtime in a beautiful array of jewel tone and pastel colors, really gorgeous for the season. And it's also practical. So if you want something that's fitting for a rainy day, but maybe brings a little bit more life into the room in a dreary, dull sort of, you know, environment, this is a knockout for me. Just really gorgeous. You've got double-breasted buttons all the way down, the illusion of pockets, and a great little belt at the waist with a functioning sort of cinching hardware, and another sort of strap around the wrist, beautiful collar, and it actually comes with these gorgeous little white trousers. The construction is gorgeous. Underneath all the buttons you have snaps, and the whole thing is fully lined. You can wear any color of any accessory you could possibly imagine with this. You can go really minimalistic and allow the coat to do all the talking for you, or you can throw in, you know, a hat and maybe an umbrella from the Anne Boutique and maybe, you know, some earrings or bracelets. I used our Daisy shoes from the same time that we released those, the Go-Go outfit, all of those classics from last season. And you could do that with the yellow variation as well. Any white pair of shoe, frankly, any black pair of shoe to complement those buttons. This is a very, very versatile outfit. So please don't miss out on this one. I'm very excited. I love the sort of conceptual play on color that contrasts the box outfit. You know, again, I always hope to offer something really complimentary. And to Diana's very effective point with her artwork, I wanted to do a really, you know, vibrant color with this. So I'm glad that we found a perfect occasion for this beautiful jacket and a coat rather, and these great trousers. So enjoy them. You can grab this in the boutique while supplies last. And in the meantime, thank you for joining us on this wonderful journey through time and a journey through April.
So that's Garden Party.
I hope you like this half as much as I do. I don't even know when we started really thinking about this one. It was well over a year.
At least a year, because the production took 8 or 9 months, and then to wait for the samples was around 6 months, and then we've had them for 8 months. It's been a journey. Yeah. It's been a journey, but I knew if we didn't diversify, if we didn't try something different, if we didn't take you somewhere else, that my longevity for VDC, our longevity was not going to be so long.
Sure.
Companies have to.
Sure.
You have to diversify, you have to offer new and innovative products, and you have to try different things. And also we knew our customers love history.
Yeah, and it also keeps us inspired.
Right.
It allows us to continue to create and provide a product or a brand that feels like something that you want to come back to, but also that like we really want to be doing.
We don't want it to be the same old thing. We don't want to keep putting out the same dress or whatever. We want to, every time we put out a box and all the components and elements, it has our personal stamp, which means this is something we would want to buy.
Yeah, right.
This is something we would want to have. I would rather have anything else than to put out something that we were like, you know, so have fun with this one. And just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And enjoy the feelings that it brings. And, you know, that's all I can really say is just have fun and enjoy surprises sprinkled in the box that we didn't put in our video, which is always a really fun thing. And thank you for your patience on the shipping. Sometimes.
Yeah. When we're juggling 3 projects, sometimes
making all those boxes.
It's I say it often, but the amount of stuff that we're able to do, just 3 people, it impresses me. So I hope that we can keep impressing you. But I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do with this one, because it really, I think more than any so far, have really, it begs you to create a vignette and play with sort of staging this and putting together your own universe. At least I think the story does, and what Diana provided for this, I think really, really does that as well. So so many of you love to put photos together, beautiful photos together, and we always appreciate them, but I'm extra looking forward to those this time.
Yep, we're very much looking forward to it. It actually looks beautiful out of box.
Yeah.
It could always use a good pressing on the skirt, but this one actually does look really wonderful out of box. So.
I did iron both of these, but it doesn't take a lot of time, and if you don't want to, like you said, it's very, very pretty just out of box.
But look how good Grace looks before she even puts on her jacket and her belt and her gloves.
Right.
And that bow tie just kills me.
It's maybe my favorite part. It's so, I mean, everyone knows I love a bow. I love a bow. And this is really...
Yeah. And this one's staged with the London Luxe earrings, those black bows that have the pearls, and it looks so good.
I know they're not like time appropriate, but I thought, you know, you can accessorize any way that you want to.
We've had a couple, you know, friends that had some words to say about time appropriate and this and that, but also we reserve the right, we reserve to say, like, when we're putting doll clothes together, there are going to be some elements that are fantastical.
Yeah.
That are fantasy, that are fun. There's no way when you're doing something on a miniature scale to do it exactly how it was in 1895.
Some things need to be compromised, and then other things we like to compromise.
That's the thing. It's like
we
wanted to add these
both.
Earrings.
Yeah.
We think it looks cute.
Yeah.
So if you think it looks cute, then you do it.
Yeah,
and you
stamp
have fun.
of approval.
Stamp of approval. All right, well, we hope you enjoyed this video. We sure loved hanging out with you, and we'll see you very soon.
Bye.
Bye.